We're live. All
Oh,
right,
we're
folks.
live.
I got to do it my way. Okay. There's a longer version of that too. So there's a live version, which is for you people. And then there's a more polished and refined version, which is for my channel. So that's going to be a bit more condensed. So this is a new experiment that we're doing. Okay. All right. Serious. Get serious. All right, folks. This is Harris Sultan, and I've got with me my favorite Iranian. Whenever we want to know what's happening in Iran, we call out Armin Navabi. Armin Navabi is the founder of Atheist Republic, the world's largest platform of atheists on Facebook and also on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and everywhere you find him. So he doesn't just only talk about atheism. Just like many of us activists, his trajectory has evolved into totally something different as well, where we don't just talk about atheism, we talk about other issues as well. So check out his channel. He is absolutely brilliant. Armin, last time we had a live stream that was also about Iran and what was happening in Iran. I think it was in May or June when there was a shootout between Israel and Iran. Now, all of a sudden, and then nothing happened. Of course, the regime didn't get toppled, even though a lot of us got excited. But I remember you told us that hold on to your horses. You never know. You never know whether they're going to survive this or, or they might get toppled. Kind of like Putin. We don't know what's happening in Russia. That's the thing with these autocracies. You just cannot tell. But when it happens, when the regime topples, then all of a sudden, oh, everything makes sense. So I don't want to put you on the spot and say, hey, is the regime going to get toppled? I know we don't know the answer, but tell me what happened. Why have we suddenly woken up to literally hundreds of clips, if not probably thousands now, hundreds of clips of thousands of Iranians protesting against the regime, including the people who used to support the regime? I forgot the name. You mentioned them yesterday in your stream. What's happening in Iran?
Right. So this was predictable. We didn't know when, but we knew eventually will happen. This is we have been discussing this on our Persian channel and our English channel. There is too much outrage and too much anger against the regime for this not to have happened. And a lot of people kept on saying, when would it happen? When would it happen? Is it going to happen? And our response was, yes, it's going to happen. For sure it's going to happen. But when exactly it's going to happen, nobody knows. Some people did predict, some people did predict that it is going to have to do something with the fuel prices. And this did happen a couple of days, because I don't know if you know the bloody Aban a couple of years ago, I think it was 6 years ago, those protests happened in response to fuel prices going up. And this also happened a couple of days after fuel prices going up. However, even though the spark is usually economical, but the continuation and the expansion of the protest is not economical. It's everything. It's basically it's very important for people to understand everywhere that these people are not asking the Islamic Republic to better their conditions. They're over that. These protesters want the regime to gone. This is not about coming up with a policy that reduces inflation. This is not about coming up with a policy that reduces gas prices, brings back electricity, brings back water. It's not about any of that. This is about ending the Islamic Republic completely. And this is very important to understand, because the regime is trying to actually transition, to do a fake transition, so to satisfy these people, because these people are not going to be satisfied with anything short of a complete regime change, and not a fake regime change, which we do need to talk about, because we are in it right now, in danger of the regime successfully going through a fake regime change, right? So it's important to understand that the regime is actually doesn't have the tools to fix anything, even if it wanted to. There's two things to understand. First, the regime doesn't want to fix things because it's not in its interest, and we could go into a lot of details for why the regime doesn't actually want to fix this. If you want to talk about that, I could talk about that for a lot.
I want to understand more about what could a fake regime look like? What do you
Right.
mean by that?
So this is the idea of the Third Republic, and this is why a lot of Iranians are aware of, and foreigners need to be aware of as well. Okay, so what we're trying to avoid is the Third Republic. So the first republic, the Islamic Republic, was Khomeini's republic. The second republic was Khamenei's republic, right? So the understanding by a lot of Iranians, which I agree with, is that the Islamic Republic is trying to transition to an Islamic Republic without Khamenei. That is
Sort of like his
more
successor. So they will say that we have reform. This is a reformed regime, but at the base of it, at the
Yes.
heart of it, it would still remain the Islamic regime. Basically, you've
So-
gone from Kim Jong Un to Kim Jong Il, basically.
right. So the characteristics of the Third Republic is that things will be more free and less Islamic. However, not the type of freedoms that we are looking for. Things will not be fake. So here's what we will have in the Third Republic. We will have no mandatory hijab. We will have alcohol being sold in Iran. We will have concerts. We will have women dancing. We will have many social freedoms, right? We will have movies made with the permission of the government, with women without the hijab in there, okay? We will have a government probably that is not going to be less hostile towards Israel and definitely less hostile towards America, right? But here's what will not change. We will still have extreme poverty. We will have water shortages. We will have electricity shortages. We will have a polluted air. We will have our environment continuing to be destroyed because the IRGC will still be in power and the IRGC will still control the economy. A lot of people don't understand that the Islamic Republic has lost the battle over Islam, and they have lost the battle in many other, the hijab, Islam, it's all gone. They have lost that battle.
They're not even enforcing
fighting for it.
hijab. Yeah.
They're not even fighting for it. In fact, Harris, it has gotten so bad. Like Iran is filled with so many people who are against Islam that speaking ill of Islam is normalized. In fact, in some areas in Iran, defending Islam is taboo. Like people apologize. Like they sometimes they ask permission for, like, hey, I'm actually pro-Islam. Am I welcome to talk about this? Like,
are you telling me that Iran is the most Islamophobic country at the moment?
Proudly so. It's proudly so. So, and in fact, it has gotten so bad that the regime itself sometimes tries to work with anti-Islam content creators to push for anti-Pahlavi and anti-Israeli narratives, right? That's how bad it has gotten, because they know that anti-Islam content is the most. In fact, we have a lot of government, people online that post a lot of anti-Islamic content themselves, just so that in key moments that it's needed, they also post anti-Pahlavi or anti-Israeli posts, because you could gain a good following by posting anti-Islamic stuff. And it's actually gotten more clever as well, because anti-Islamic stuff is just too common now, so it doesn't actually gain as much followers as it used to. Another tactic they use now is we have accounts that are pro the first and second Pahlavi, but anti the third Pahlavi. So we have so many accounts that are praise Reza Shah and praise Muhammad Reza Shah, just so that they could be against Prince Reza Pahlavi, which is the third Pahlavi, because that's the key Pahlavi to be against, right? So the regime is just trying to invest all of its soft power to attack Prince Reza Pahlavi and Israel, because those are the main weaknesses and those are the red lines. And you could actually see by the behavior of the regime on how they treat activists, because if you are a supporter of Prince Reza Pahlavi, they are very aggressive. They are very aggressive and they treat you really bad in prison. But all the other activists who are anti-regime, but they're also anti-Pahlavi or pro-Palestine, their treatment in prison is very, in fact, it to a lot of us, it seems like the regime wants to push them as alternatives to us as Prince Reza Pahlavi. So for example, people like Narges Mohammadi or Taraneh Ali Dusti, these are people who are the reformist section of the Islamic Republic is trying to sell to us as an alternative to Prince Reza Pahlavi, because they are for feminism. They say women. This is, by the way, this is why I'm giving you a lot of details that people don't know, by the way. This is why Iranian people are not saying woman, life, freedom anymore. This is why the chants are this is why the chants are Javid Shah. These are the chants are King Reza Pahlavi.
Who is Javid Shah?
Or Javid Shah means long live the king.
Okay. I thought that was a name. Javid is a name too. I was like, who are they chanting? Why are they chanting Javid Shah's name? So okay, so
here the chants Reza Reza Pahlavi in a Shoar Milli, which means Reza Reza Pahlavi. This is the national chant. Okay, and then we have King Reza Pahlavi as the chant. And we have another chant that's saying that Pahlavi, in akharin nabard Pahlavi barmigerde, which means that this is the final battle, Pahlavi will return. So these are what the chants are for. So the main chants right now are either pro-Pahlavi or anti-Palestinian. And I could tell you why they're very focused and why these two are related and why the chants are so anti-Palestinian and why Iranian people, why would the Iranian people focus on so much on being anti-Palestinian right now?
So basically what you're saying, that the regime is so desperate that they're trying all of these unprecedented strategies that we could not have imagined. The Iranian people protested against the regime previously when gas prices were hiked, or they protested because of this, because of their government wasting their resources on funding Hezbollah and Hamas. They also protested in the name of feminism and individual freedoms and against the hijab. The Iranian people basically are trying everything. And what was the name of that group or a faction that you mentioned yesterday, who have historically been pro-regime, hardcore Muslims or something, but even they are now protesting against the regime?
Oh, the Bazaris you're talking
Bazaris,
about.
Okay, yeah, Bazaris. So
yeah.
So if I know it, you've said it before, that it's like you're swinging an axe to bring down a tree and you don't know which swing is going to bring down the tree.
Right.
I have to still ask you this. We've seen all kinds of protests. With each set of new protests, the regime gets significantly weakened. Khamenei, last time when I spoke to you, we've been hearing he's an old man, he's dying, he's scared. Remember, he went in his bunker when Israel was lobbing missiles. He didn't come out, and we thought at that point that, oh boy, this is gone. I know we can't say it, but what does your brain tell you? Like, what are we seeing the dying breaths of this regime?
So Khamenei is not the issue anymore. Okay, it's IRGC is the issue. In fact, my understanding and many other people is that the regime is trying to use Khamenei as a way to blame everything that we are currently experiencing on Khamenei, so that once we get rid of him, either because he dies or because Israel kills him. And by the way, the regime seems to kind of encouraging Israel to come and kill Khamenei, which is actually kind of interesting, right? So so that they could go through this transition of like everything was because of Khamenei, so we got rid of him, now everything is okay, right? The regime is actually it seemed like the regime is actually wants Israel to attack, because
could the regime soften its stance on Israel then? If that's what you're saying, then once Khamenei is out of the way, then could they soften their stance on Israel? Could they have reforms just for the sake of their own survival, not for the sake of the goodness of their heart?
They can, but then we Iranian people will be fucked, all right? Because
You want them out.
So, yeah, because so here's Samantha in one of our one of our audience, one of our fans in Atheist Republic. He mentioned that, for example, with Jews and Hitler, right? So if Hitler wasn't being a problem for the Europe and other Western power, the Jews will probably suffer more, because then the world wouldn't get united to get rid of Hitler, and probably he would just continue to just eliminate Jews, right? So we will be in the same state. Like if the Islamic Republic stops being a country that is bothering Israel or Western interest, then they will survive longer, and we Iranians would have to deal with that, right? So this is actually something that we're afraid of, but.
And you'll be forgotten.
But it's also
because the world would lose interest and they wouldn't care about it. No, yeah, fine, whatever.
Right. But when it comes to when this will happen, so let me actually tell you something, okay? And maybe a lot of people wouldn't want to hear this, but it's going to take a lot more than, this is very impressive, and it actually, the crowd sizes this time grew faster than previous protests, right? However, it is possible that it will become bigger in the next couple of hours, right? But it also is possible that it will die down, and then we will have to wait for the next wave. The thing is that we can just do what we know that we just need to keep pushing for the next wave and the next wave and the next wave, even if this dies down. Because again, we don't know which wave is going to topple the regime, but we have to give it all we've got. Like, we have no other choice. So we cannot predict which one of these waves is going to topple the regime. We just know that we don't have any other alternative other than keep trying, because the Iranian people are not living. What the Iranian people are doing in Iran is not living. This is, if I go through the videos that constantly comes out of Iran, it's devastating. It's really horrible, and it's so bad. Even some Iranians don't know how bad some other Iranians are experiencing, because some Iranians are living in their own bubble. But it's again, I'm not going to go through the list of videos that unless you want me to. Okay, but the situation is very, very bad, and as long as the IRGC is in power, even if we get some social freedoms, even if we get the right to dance, go to concerts, that's just going to be for the upper class people. The rest of the Iranian people will have to deal with extreme poverty, and the rest of Iranians have to watch all their natural resources, all their their environment being completely destroyed, and the electricity outages would increase, water outages would increase, people's fridges will become emptier and emptier, people would not be able to pay for their healthcare, people will not have no hope for the future. So this is why, by the way, you can see these people,
they're desperate.
There's a lot of, by the way, they're desperate because things cannot get any,
worse.
By the way, something people need to understand, that it's one thing for a country to be poor, it's another thing for a country to experience a higher level of lifestyle and then lose it. That causes a level of desperation that you would not see in poorer country. Like, people in poorer country that have always been poor don't experience this much frustration compared to a country that has experienced a much higher lifestyle and then it's losing it.
High standard of living, basically. I have seen some videos when they're now talking about, so I don't know how accurate some of these tweets are, because we live in the age of social media. For example, Visegrad is saying the anti-regime protesters have taken full control of the streets in the city of Pulat Sahar in the Isfahan province. The security forces. So I'm seeing there like full control of this. What does that mean? Is there any exaggeration? Do we need to be careful or mindful? I have seen some.
Yeah, you need to be careful because we've gone through this before. Again, I don't want people to not be optimistic, but I don't want them to spread false hope. This might be just one of the other waves that we have to go through. Here's the thing. Where the numbers have to be so much higher than what we're seeing right now, and maybe they will become.
Isn't it just as big as almost Masa Amini or the ones from 2008? Isn't it as big as that?
the rate of the growth rate has been so much faster. Like we went from day 1 to day 2 seeing population sizes that usually takes a lot longer. So that's what's so good about it. But for regime, here's the thing: these people are not armed. The regime is very armed. So even if you get the numbers 10 times higher than this, it's really hard to see what they could do against the regime for it to topple. And this is why Prince Reza Pahlavi's focus is on using the presence of people in the streets to get people from armed forces, from the regime, to join the people. And this is why Prince Reza Pahlavi understands that that's what will get us to the finish line. It's not the presence of people in the streets directly is not going to directly result in the toppling of the regime, because what are you going to do? Even if you are high in numbers, what are you going to do against an armed regime? However, if this
can you storm Khamenei's residence?
No, I mean he's not in his residence.
That's how old school revolutions used to come about. It just stormed the palace.
He's not there. He's in a hole somewhere hiding from Israel.
Still is in a hole. Right. Yeah, true.
But here's some good news Okay, the good news is that it seems like less the riot police is less organized than before and less willing to engage, because all of their commanders are hiding. Because ever since the 12-day war, the main people within the Islamic Republic, they're not using their phone, they're not meeting with each other, so it's really hard for them to. Right now, also Israel could attack at some point, because Netanyahu was in Washington D.C. meeting with Trump, and Trump gave him the green light to attack. So that was a big news. So
because last time he stopped Netanyahu from going any further.
Yes, but what happened is, because of the Epstein files, Trump has been moving away from the isolationists and moving closer to the neocons. So now he's much more open to.
Why would Epstein files scandal? Why would that scandal make him less of an isolationist?
Because it's the anti-Israeli isolationists that keep using the Epstein files against Trump. So Trump is annoyed with them, and he's basically kind of divorcing them and is moving to closer to the neocon side of the conservative movement.
Well, aren't the anti-Ukrainians also isolationists? So does that mean there could be a good news for Ukraine?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that might be the reason why his recent meeting with Zelensky was much more friendly than before. Yeah, this is why he's attacking Venezuela, because all the isolationist MAGA hate that idea, right? But he's doing it anyway. He doesn't give a shit. He just bombed Nigeria, so he's like.
Yeah, that's very, very non-isolationist. Yeah, I mean, for someone who said that I don't start any wars, he's going around bullying people. By the way, I'm perfectly okay with hitting ISIS in. I have always been an interventionist. I've always been an interventionist. I think we should uphold Western values and we should enforce them. If you carry a big stick,
I think we're not doing nearly as enough. I think we should just be blowing. I think we should be blowing shit up. I think the United States needs to be in Africa. Like Africa is going to be a major source of headache for the Western world. Like ISIS and Al Qaeda and so many others right now are growing in Africa, and I think the United States needs to be there right now and blowing all of them up. Like,
we don't need to send boots on the ground. We don't need to send boots on the ground. Just press a button, boom, blow them up.
Yeah.
So you're saying. So you're saying that Israel could intervene and they could target the top leadership of the IRGC. That's why they're hiding in a hole, kind of like how they were hiding in holes back in March. Sorry, was it in June, May, June? When the last conflict happened. So they're scared. They're not coming out, and the streets are. That's the reason why we're seeing a lot of these people. But I've also seen some videos where I don't know if they're the IRGC guards or whatever. They have open live rounds on protesters.
Yeah. So but I was basically telling you this based on what we experienced in the first and second day. That's why this might change. They're now opening They're now shooting people with live bullets. So that's a new escalation that we just saw from just recently. So, by the way, I'm gonna right after the stream, I'm gonna talk to my friends from Iran. And then after that, maybe in a couple of hours, when people in Iran wake up, I'm going to do a live stream on that on my Persian channel and then on the English channel. But let me tell you this: this is what
this photo.
concerns me.
I want your quick comment on this photo. This is
Yes.
we saw that photo of that Iranian woman. I don't know when they were 2018 Masa Amini's revolution, when this girl was waving a hijab on a stick. That went
Right.
pretty viral, and that's an iconic photo, right up there with the Tiananmen Square. Who's this guy? I saw this video. I heard him talk about, like, so this guy just sat in front of a row of these guards and he just said, I mean, the level of desperation of these people. I think you have always appreciated the bravery of these people. I don't think I could have had that. I don't know. But again, we're not in those desperate circumstances. Who is this guy? Do we know anything about him?
So we actually learned that he's one of them, and he basically was trying to stop them, even though he was one of the regime forces himself. So this is actually very encouraging, given that he was one of them and he was turning against them. Because I showed a video after that they started beating him after, right? So there we have a video after at least one of the people from the motorcycle starts beating him, and but he was apparently he just turned against his own people, the regime, even though he's
this
one
guy.
of them,
We never know what happened to him. He disappeared. Probably got killed. Let's hope that's not what happens to this guy. That's obviously is just mind-boggling what's happening in the world. Yeah. Anyway, so you were going to say something else?
Yeah, I was going to say. So here's the concern, right? We're worried that if Khamenei dies, so the regime actually it seems to okay. So the regime is scared of Israel. The regime is also afraid of the nationalist revolution that is happening in Iran right now. Okay, they probably want their own version of a revolution without the leadership of Prince Reza Pahlavi, so that they could pretend that we went through a revolution. So they're not afraid of a revolution. They're only afraid of a revolution with the leadership of Prince Reza Pahlavi. Right. However, this is what they're afraid of. A revolution with the leadership of Prince Reza Pahlavi worries them more than an attack from Israel. This is what Netanyahu said as well, by the way, because as devastating as Israeli attacks could be, it's not going to lead to a toppling of the regime, right? You cannot do regime change from the air. You can weaken a regime, but you cannot do regime change from the air. You need boots on the ground, and Israel is not able to send boots on the ground into Iran. And no other country is willing to as well. So the Iranians need Israel, and Israel needs the Iranian. This is but at the end of the final push has to be done by the Iranian people. Israel cannot do that for the Iranian people, right?
But how do you answer to that point? Last time when Israel was lobbing missiles on Iran, then a lot of people in Iran, people who hated the regime, there was an argument, I don't know how credible, they were saying that is going to unite them, and that's not actually helping the cause. How do you answer
we
that?
have polls. Most Iranians blame the Islamic Republic for the 12-day war much more than they blame Israel. We have numbers for that.
So you're saying that they would welcome an attack by Israel on the Islamic regime's targets?
The people or the regime?
The people, of course, the people. I know you're saying that there's an element within the regime that wants them to take out Khamenei, but what about the Iranian people? They would welcome any such attack?
So the polls suggest that yes, Iranian people don't think alike, right? So we have diverse views, but the people who welcome it seem to be more than the people who would be against it, right? So
what
we
are
have
the
numbers that I could bring up the numbers if you want, but
if you know the top of your head, just roughly.
So I remember seeing the poll that let me actually bring it up because I shared it just recently in our community group.
I just find it fascinating because we had a similar thing happen in Pakistan, where a lot of people are pro Imran Khan and they're very anti-Pakistani military. But then the moment the 6 or 7 day war started with India, they all got together and they forgot their differences and they became one against India, a foreign enemy. So that you can have that impact. And conversely speaking, like that attack ended up being the worst thing that could have happened to Pakistan, because our military, Pakistan's authoritarian military under General Asim Munir, the new army chief, he became more popular all of a sudden, and he gained legitimacy. He gave himself new ranks like field marshal. He became a hero. Even Trump now gets along with him. And poor Imran Khan, the real democratic force, has been forgotten. So I just want to be careful that that's not the case in Iran.
So the numbers here, like, so the question was, in your opinion, which side was more responsible for starting the 12-day war? So 43% said the Islamic Republic, 32% said Israel, 16% said both equally, 7% said I don't know, no opinion.
Yeah,
so number one blame was on.
Yeah, but the ones who said both, let's just consider them too. So they're not going to be happy about Israel throwing missiles at their country. So it's about more than 50% of the people who are not happy with it.
Yeah, but actually, true. They're not happy, but they're not happy that war is coming to their country. But they also, a lot of them consider war, if war would lead to their freedom, then they would see it as something unwelcome, but welcomed if it actually does lead to the toppling of the regime. Because
but that's not what the question indicates, though. But the question indicates who do you blame, and that's also a separate question from will you welcome it. That's just being angry and upset about, hey, I blame the Islamic regime for it.
Yeah, but the fact that the number one blame went to the Islamic Republic instead of Israel, like the vast majority of people, that is unprecedented for a country. Like, there's a foreign army coming to your country and bombing, and the people of your own country, they
welcome the invaders,
find your government more responsible than Israel by a huge margin. This has never happened. Like what
happened during World War II in Ukraine, and Nazis. They welcomed the Nazis because
but Nazis were foreign. Nazis were current.
The
like
Soviets.
Foreign. Yeah.
But the Soviets, the Soviets were ruling the Ukrainians.
So look at this poll. Which one? So here's another poll. Which of the following deeply upset you during the 12-day war? They asked the Iranian people, right? So 73% civilian casualties, 45% direct attacks on Iranian territory, 29% killing of nuclear scientists, 26% attack on Evin prison, 21% destruction of nuclear facilities, 20% killing of military commanders. So 80% of the people asked didn't give a shit that the military commanders were killed. They were concerned. 70% were concerned about the civilians being killed, but only 20% were upset that the military commanders were killed.
But they're still upset, though. But they're still upset at something. No, they're still upset at the actual attack. Because
no. Okay, Harris, you don't. No. Let me actually tell you. I'm upset that civilians died. I'm upset. I would have said yes. I'm upset. So if you ask, so I talk to Iranian people often. No Iranian I know would say that I'm not upset that civilians died. Okay, no Iranian.
I understand that.
Even no. Let me finish this. Okay, even Iranians who welcome the attack, they say they're upset that civilians died, but they understand that that's that's something that happens in war. So
but that part is not in the question, though. That point is not in the question.
I'm not. No, you're not listening. I'm not saying this poll shows I don't have a number regarding how many people welcome the attack, because unfortunately this poll didn't ask those questions, right? I'm not making a claim here. I'm saying this number by itself.
You're deducing from it, I guess. Yeah, I get
I'm not saying this number shows that people welcome the attack. I'm saying it doesn't show that they don't welcome the attack. I'm saying that these numbers...
I understand. I mean, I totally understand. I even understand how your mind works. I'm just being careful that
I'm very careful. I'm very careful about the conclusions that I'm making. I'm not making a claim, but I'm also not accepting, making a claim that people are not welcoming it,
But could it
or
be
that they are
possible?
welcoming it.
Could it be possible because you want the Islamic regime gone so badly that you might have a wrong bias, even though to form a conclusive opinion? I know you're not making a conclusion. You're not saying
I'm not
that
making a claim, though.
Yeah, you're not making a conclusion.
So,
but your
with
opinion,
regards to Israel, I'm always very careful. Yeah,
I know, but you might understand what I'm saying. But because you hate it, so that's why you may want the Israeli government to attack. But I'm saying that that desire may be ignoring the fact that this may make there might be a lot of Iranians who may not welcome that attack. I know you're not saying that, but you're wanting the Israeli government to intervene.
Harris, I talk to Iranians on a daily basis, okay, with people with differing opinions. What?
That's anecdotal.
With people no. You not even know what I'm going to say. You don't even know what I'm going to say. You don't even know what conclusion I'm going to make from this point. So you have to give me some time to make my point before you see if it's anecdotal or not, right? You could have said this is anecdotal if I came up with the conclusion that these are the percentages. That's not the conclusions that I was going to make. I say I talk to Iranians on a daily basis, so I know that there are many different opinions. So if I have an opinion, I would never come and try to sell it as the majority unless I have data, right? So the data that I give only shows what the data shows. And if it doesn't show something that you might suggest that it's showing, I say, well, it doesn't show that, and we don't know. And because I talk to Iranians with many different views, I am careful not to try to represent my view as the majority rule unless I have data for it. And I know the arguments. I don't know what percentage they represent because it's anecdotal, but I am very familiar with Iranian opinions that are against my opinion and the logic the arguments that they make for it. Because
so we can't conclusively, I get that. So we can't conclusively say that that the Israeli government attacking the Islamic regime would be a good idea. We can't conclusively say that.
Oh, no. I could say it's a good idea, but we cannot say what percentage of Iranian people would agree with me. That's what we can't say.
So, okay,
but we can say it's a good idea.
No, we can't say
it's a good idea.
No, I'll tell you why we can't say that. Oh, yeah, I know you do, but there's a flip side to that reason as well, which is like that may anger those people that we haven't got any conclusive evidence of that they're not going to be welcoming.
Here's what I know. I don't know exactly what percentage of Iranian people welcome Israeli attack, but I can tell that it's a growing number.
Okay.
So that's what I can tell. Okay. I know for
a fact could be going from 5% to 10%. So that's still growing, but in the grand scheme of things, tiny.
I doubt that is 5%. I think it could be from 40 to 50 or from 50 to 60. It's not 5%. I know there's another poll demonstrating this. I don't know where it is, and I will find it for you next time we're talking. But it's much support for Israel in Iran. It's much, much higher than 5%. I think by now it's the majority.
Okay. All right. Let's move forward.
And I think the 12. And I don't have proof for this right now, but I think the 12-day war pushed it to become the majority. I think that this is a guess based on everything I'm observing. For this, I don't have any statistical data. What I know for a fact is that a growing number of people in Iran support Israel. But what I don't know for a fact, but I would bet money on it, is that the 12-day war contributed in a higher number of people supporting Israel.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so let's go with that and let's hope you're right. And Israel does give a little bit of a helping hand to the people of Iran, and it may cause some defections within the ranks of the IRGC. So you're saying that is probably the only way to topple the regime, because people are unarmed on their own. They can't do everything. and they can't topple the regime.
So actually, here, let me be more realistic. I'm actually concerned if the Israeli attack could do more harm than good if not, because for a different reason, not because people will turn anti-Israeli. Okay, so people could turn more people could turn against Israel if the next attack targets the infrastructure. I know a lot of Iranians who would say that even that would not turn them against Israel, because they understand that Israel is just trying to survive. But those are just my friends. So I don't know. But I do think that because in the 12-day war, Israel didn't target Iranian infrastructure. So I suspect if in the second attack, if they target infrastructure, it is likely that some Iranians will turn against Israel. But that's not the main thing that I'm worried
Like
about.
the oil
main
facilities.
thing that the main thing I'm worried about is that if they take out Khamenei and they leave somebody like Rouhani, because if they do that, our situation gets worse, not better. So right now, our main enemy is not Khamenei. Our main enemy right now is people like Rouhani, Tajzadeh, Zarif, Araghchi, Nargis Mohammadi, and these types of people that could build the Islamic Republic, that can help the Islamic Republic transition into the Third Republic. In fact, on my Persian show, I usually say that we should actually hope that Khamenei lives longer. And my audience, at least on my Persian channel, agree with me, because we say, like, please do not kill Khamenei without killing Rouhani, because Khamenei is saying all the right things. Khamenei is properly anti-American and properly anti-Israeli, and we want him to come out and say all of this bullshit so that the world is united against him. And he has lost his mind, by the way. And this is good. And we're like, oh my, because he comes and says that during the 12-day war, they won and Israel lost everything. And the Islamic Republic had achieved all of its goals. And the Israel didn't achieve any of its goals. So it seemed like that's a level of lunacy that we're not even used to from him. Like, he's usually not this retarded. And I mean they're all retarded, they're Shia, but not this retarded. So this is a new level of bad analysis. To us, it seems like there a couple of things that is happening in Iran. To me, at least, it seems like they are purposefully giving him shit information. The regime,
as is the case with most dictators. It's the same with Putin. They're surrounded by yes.
But I think they're doing that to make his fans think that he has lost it, because they are trying to get rid of him, but he has too much support among the hard, like some what we call Arzashis, like the Basiji boys, right? And they need to. So they're doing two things. They're making him say stupid shit, and at the same time, oh well. Hey, Goldie is here. Goldie is saying, Javid Shah, long live Reza Pahlavi.
Well, is that Goldie? Yeah, I just saw that. Oh yeah,
Goldie
that's Goldie. I was gonna just go through all these. I gotta sit down with Goldie as well. Okay, so let's just so we don't know if this is the final. Yeah, sorry, finish your point.
Yeah, okay, but I also think that the Islamic Republic is signaling to Israel to please come attack. Just take out Khamenei and we'll be good. Because here's a couple of signals that I got, and this is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that if that's what the attack is going to be like, because then the Iranian people have been abandoned, right? So because the Islamic Republic has came out and said that everything is all the decisions that we're doing, like they are publicly saying it more than before, that all of our decisions for the October 7th, the 12-day war, everything we have done has been with the direct involvement of Khamenei. And they're repeating that so many times by so many officials. And our understanding is that they're signaling that, hey, all your problems come from Khamenei. And then not Rouhani. Pezeshkian came out a couple of weeks ago, and he said, guys, if they kill Khamenei, it's over. We're done. They don't have to kill the rest of us. They don't have to kill anybody. They only have to kill Khamenei, and we'll be done. And he said that publicly, as if he's saying, like, hey, dude.
But that's not what
and one more thing. Khamenei gave a speech saying that the Islamic Republic and United States are enemies, and this is inherent. This is in our DNA, and it's never going to change. Never going to change. And within one day after, Larijani, which is one of the highest officials within the Islamic Republic, came out and directly said something against that, saying, like, we don't have to be enemies with the United States. And Rouhani comes out almost every week directly saying things against Khamenei's speeches, which is basically something new, by the way. This is like in Iran, you weren't able to do that. So it seemed like they're signaling to the West that we don't have to be your enemy. Everything is being made by this decision, is being made by this guy. Come kill him and we can be friends. That's the signal that they're sending to the Israel and the West. And we don't like that, by the way.
Okay. Well, best of luck to the people of Iran. I am a firm believer of what you have been telling us for a very long time, because I value your opinion, that this regime will be toppled. It's just a matter of time when it's going to happen. Yes, it's a bit frustrating to see them survive so many waves of protests. What was the one before Masa Amini protests? There was another one. I think that was around, that was one of the first major ones. And then it happened every 2 years after that. That was also because of gas prices.
Yeah, I know it's more based on Persian calendar. But can I just, do we have time? Because I need to say something.
I got to wrap it up very quickly, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Support as Prince Reza Pahlavi is the solution to all our problems. The solution to the problem of Iranians and Israelis, okay? The Iranian people have figured out that supporting Prince Reza Pahlavi means that everything that was destructive to Iran will be filtered out automatically. Like there's a chant we say, Mag bar Fasid Mullah Chapul Mujahid. This is a famous chant by Iranians, which means death to the three corruptions: the mullahs, the lefties, and the MEK, right? And all of these three groups are trying to replace the Islamic Republic, and the Iranian people, by supporting Prince Reza Pahlavi, are keeping all of these people out, all of the things that destroyed Iran. But this is not just true for the Iranian people. It's also true for Israel. Prince Reza Pahlavi is somebody that believes in secular democracy, wants to have a good relationship with Israel, has a good relationship with the United States. His team is constantly working with officials in Israel, and the Iranian people love him and they support him more than anyone else. This, by the way, shows how much Iranian people want a good relationship with Israel, because they support somebody that wants a good relationship with Israel. There is nobody that in Iran, any alternative to Prince Reza Pahlavi might be against the Islamic Republic, but will also be hostile to Israel and the West. All the other people who the Islamic Republic tries to push as the opposition, they're anti-Western imperialism, as they say, and they're anti-Zionist. So by supporting Prince Reza Pahlavi, you're not only supporting the Iranian people, you're also supporting the only alternative to the Islamic Republic that wants to have a strong relationship with Israel and wants to be an ally of Israel. So it's important for Israelis to know Prince Reza Pahlavi and support him. Yeah, go on.
So the kind of Iran that we want, only Reza Pahlavi is the one who can take us there. Or there are other factions. They may be anti-regime, but they have an own agenda. They may still hate the West. They may still hate Israel. And we're still going to have an unstable Iran, or the Iran that we don't really want. We've had 40, 50 years of that Iran. We want a new, secular, liberal, democratic Iran, and only Reza Pahlavi can take us there. That's what you're alluding to.
Yes. Well, they believe in the Palestinian cause, which is the DNA of the Islamic Republic. Even if they put Islam away, even if they put many mandatory hijab or many of the things that are surface level for the Islamic Republic way, the things that you need to test is that, are they for the Palestinian cause, because that's what binds them together, and are they anti-Pahlavi? That's your test. If they are anybody who's pro-Pahlavi and pro-Israel, that is the future of Iran. That is an Iran that is going to be once a healthy relationship in the Middle East with all of its neighbors, and is for secular democracy and prosperity, and wants to completely topple the Islamic Republic completely. Not fake, not reforms, not just putting lipstick on a pig, completely basically destroy IRGC's hold on the Iranian people. And this is why Prince Reza Pahlavi is the solution to the economic problems, because every other alternative will keep the power of IRGC in Iran, and that means that we will not have a strong private sector, and we might have social freedoms, but we're not going to have political freedoms. That means that most of the shit, most of the poverty, and most of the isolationism will still the same. It's only by completely removing the power of IRGC that Iran could prosper, and that could only happen with an alternative that has an ideology that is not for Palestine but is for Iran, which is Prince Reza Pahlavi.
Okay, well, with that, on that note, let's wrap this up. And as I said, you can find more about Armin Navabi on his channel, Atheist Republic. And also you can watch the longer version of this discussion on Atheist Republic, where the stream went for almost an hour. So until next time, ta-da from both of us. Okay, I'll just finish your live stream properly. That was just for my video. We've got Nail Bunny saying Islamophobia, Republic of Iran. That's pretty funny, actually, from
love that, yeah.
Yeah, from the Islamic Republic of Iran to the Islamophobic Republic of Iran. That's a pretty good point. Like, we have more, you're saying there are more Islamophobes in Iran than even in India. That's a pretty big call.
It's the Islamophobic capital of the world.
Good. We like that. This is why I love the people of Iran. Israel hesitates because a strike could scatter IRGC missiles. That's why Israel won't strike. The regime is broke. What's that? The regime is that a saying or something? Is that something? Broke it. It's only a matter of time. Oh, the regime. Oh, yeah. Oh, the regime. Okay, good one. Anders is saying, according to a YouTube video, even a police officer in Iran has a poor salary and inflation is apparently high, which must be pissing off a lot of people. As you said, Iranian people have experienced a high quality of living. They have high standard of living. They have experienced the taste of liberalism. The women have experienced feminism. And from that to be reduced to what we see today, it's not just the suffocation that Islamism brings, but also it's the poverty as well. At least the people of Saudi Arabia or the Middle East, they were enjoying the fruits of modern economics, but Iranians are not even experiencing that.
Yeah, Harris, I didn't say it in the show, but like,
that's okay. You can say
it's become a tradition by Iranians to open their fridge and post it online on how empty it is. And this is very weird, but based on Iranians' traditions, because we are a very proud group of people. We used to never share how much we can't afford things. Now,
or how much we're struggling.
How much was like that was something that you would take to your grave, but now people are sharing it all the time. Like, people are returning, like, there are stories of people buying fruits and then to put in front of their guests and then returning it for a refund after the guests leave. I was watching a father crying over the fact that he was holding his daughter, and when his daughter was speaking, he could see all the scars in his mouth. Because she has a disease that there's a cure, that is an easy cure for, and he can't afford it. And he says, like, my daughter is dying in front of me, and I'm such a failure as a father that I can't even fix this. And she's dying right in front of me. And she was hugging her and could see all the scars inside her mouth. Like the fathers are like, a lot of fathers are very, very sad. Like, for example, they come because they used to be able to afford shit. Like they
They had a
were
higher standard
upper
of
middle
living.
class people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like their sons come to them and they want a bike and they can't buy there's so many fathers that say, like, just come kill me, like, just come, and like, what do you want? Like, just, I don't want to live not being able to afford providing for my family. Like, what do I have to do to go into the streets and get the regime to kill me? Because I don't want to experience this anymore. It's so, I don't know, it's so devastating.
And it's the same people. It's the same people who want to appeal to other people's humanity. That look what's happening in Gaza. And again, I'm not taking away anything from the suffering of Gazan people. People suffer. It just happens, and children suffer. But what about the suffering that the Islamic regime is bringing upon its own people because of its insistence on keep carrying on with this conflict? I don't think anyone's going to talk about it. It's the same way we see these massacres by Islamists in the Muslim world, and the same people who want to shame you over what's happening in Gaza, they don't notice that. I don't fully blame them, because I think this war has shown to us that how much of a slave we are to algorithm or to whatever is shown. It used to be the mainstream media that would decide what you get to see. Now it's the algorithm that gets to decide. So people get outraged over the suffering of Gazans, but because the algorithm doesn't go viral and it doesn't show you what's happening in Sudan or Somalia or in Iran, then people don't get outraged about it, and consequently there is no political pressure.
And they are connected, by the way, because the suffering of the people of Gaza is used by the Islamic Republic is not Iranian. The Islamic Republic is a Palestinian occupation of Iran, and the Palestinian cause is the main weapon of the Islamic Republic for a pan-Islamist imperial agenda to use the resources of Iran to spend Iran. It's not, they don't rule over Iran, they're spending Iran to create as their own pan-Islamic empire in the Middle East. It's all about their Islamic imperial agenda. It's never about Iran. This is why a lot of Iranians consider the Islamic Republic to be a foreign occupation.
Yeah. And then we have another super chat from Goldie Javish Shah.
Yay.
Long live King Raza Pahlavi. I need to record a conversation with
oh my God,
Goldie
that would
as well.
Be brilliant.
Yeah, she goes on for hours. I try to. I listened to her for when you were there, and then I listened to her for a little bit after that, and then
I don't know how she does. But
so passionate.
She also sleeps enough and works out, and how does she, like, she has so much energy. I don't understand. I told her, like, is she skipping sleep? She said no. So I don't know how she gets to, like, she researches these things. She does like 6-hour-long live streams, and she's taking care of herself as well. I don't know how she manages it.
Well, that's what passion is all about. Like, I mean, if you believe in something, that's where you find that courage and time and energy from. That's where you draw it from. Otherwise, people just burn out. People just don't get it. So, best of luck, man.
Can I say something, Harris? Yeah. I know I've already said this before, but I really have to thank you, because you never don't cover this. Like, every time something happens in Iran,
so big,
you cover this. So I really appreciate you doing that.
It's so big. I'm so dying for this un-Islamic revolution. Like, I want this Islamic revolution to be, because we don't know what kind of an impact it's going to have on the rest of the Muslim world. I'm not being too idealistic and too optimistic and say, if that happens, then we're going to see a secular revolution all over the Muslim world. No, it's not going to happen. Probably not. But it's going to make people think. Just like
it will eventually. It might take some time, but it will eventually. If that happens,
or they may not need an Islamic revolution. Look, there are other avenues of secularizing the Muslim world. Just gradual change over a couple of generations. Kind of like, I know you're not a fan of MBS.
Harris, just the fact that we're not going to have this Islamic ideology being funded and trained by this,
that's huge.
By this much oil and gas is huge. It's huge.
Absolutely. No. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't tell you enough. I can't stress enough how important it is for this regime to be toppled. And the best thing about that is the Iranian people. This is where I think Iran is so different. And we talked about it earlier. The Iranian people are actually Islamophobes. They're sick and tired of Islam. Other countries, maybe Pakistan, Bangladesh, all these countries, they say show some glimpses, but the state is probably actually more un-Islamic than the people. But it's the opposite in Iran, which means that it can really lead the Muslim world and show them the way that, hey, you know what? If you let go of the ancient medieval views, look how quickly your standard of living can rise. Look how quickly your children can enjoy the benefits of modern life. So it's so important, and that's why I cover it. I'm going to keep covering, and I really hope that maybe this is the final swing of the axe.
My dream is to see the Iranian army working with the IDF to attack take out different terrorist groups in the Middle East, cooperating with each other, intelligence sharing. That would be amazing. Imagine if that happens.
That could actually happen. You know why that could happen? Because as America becomes more isolationist, like, oh, we don't need to get involved in foreign wars. I think Israel, because Israel's existence is tied down with with these Islamists, whether that's ISIS. I know ISIS never directly attacked Israel, but Israel fears Islamic fundamentalism. So the US may not get involved, but Israel has the balls to do it. All it needs is one willing partner, and who knows, a secular Iran could be that partner.
But these two great countries would be such great allies with each other. Israel and Iran, they were allies. They have ancient ties with each other. They have similar values. They have the same enemies. I mean, a strong, powerful Iran would be the best ally of Israel. And I think we will. I think that together in the Middle East, they will be unstoppable together against.
And that would piss off so many other Muslim countries. Like, I think the Arabs won't care, but Pakistan. But oh, look at this! They've sold the Umayyan community anyway. Yeah, look at it'd be pretty.
Never Muslim to begin with.
It'd be pretty cool to see that. All right, I guess that's it. Thank you very much for everyone who tuned in.
Guys, so subscribe to. I mean, your channel doesn't need promotion because you're already.
That's okay. You're too humble. It does. I don't
guys, please do yourself. Do yourself a favor, because he doesn't need the favor. Do yourself a favor and go subscribe to Harris Sultan's channel. And thank you so much. Torah is linking your channel in the chat. Guys, go subscribe. Just search for Harris Sultan and subscribe to his channel. It's amazing. It's a really good channel. Every time I went. By the way, I actually sometimes whenever I don't know what topic to cover, I just go look at your recent videos to see what topics are, because I know you do your research very well. So I just look at what you're covering to see if I could come up with any ideas. So that's how good of a channel it is.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, that's it. I hope you enjoyed Armin Navabi on his live stream. You are going to see a more condensed version on my channel, because I wanted to keep it short and sweet for people who don't want to get into little details or micro details that sometimes you need that, but just make a more condensed, more attractive version. And let's hope that more Westerners see that, because I think 70% of my audience is now made up of Americans, Brits, Australians, and Canadians. Yeah, America has become the biggest one. I think it's 38%. In December, it's 38% was America. So
you need to talk about the Nick. Like, if you have American audience, you need to talk about Nick Fuentes.
Maybe I can. Yeah, maybe we can do it. Like, I haven't looked into. I haven't nested into him. Like, I have a very basic surface level knowledge of him. Obviously, what I've heard, I don't agree with that. But I don't know if I was talking to someone else before that. It's like. What they have done, this whole left and right and all this nonsense and all these weird alliances they've done, they've actually forged new alliances. I've never valued someone like Alex Jones, but Alex Jones, for example, is going he's going all guns blazing on Islamism, right? So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to criticize. I'm not going to attack. Like, I'm not saying I'm not endorsing Alex Jones, but I'm not touching him now, because I'm like, I have a bigger fish to fry, and I'm going to focus on that. And because of this age of nonsense and echo chambers, it's forging new allies, just like the moderate Muslims and the radicals in the post-October 7 world they have gotten together. They've gotten in bed together over a common cause of Palestine. They've brought them. Closer to each other.
Well, let me sell it to you this way, okay? One of our greatest weapons against Islamism is Israel, right?
Yeah.
And Israel requires the support of America. And Nick Fuentes and what he represents is anti-Israeli. So
is
if
Alex
we
Jones,
are-
I think. He's anti-Israel
yeah,
too.
so if we appreciate Israel, we need to show up and defend Israel against people who spread
I do my bit.
anti-Israeli bullshit.
Yeah, I do my bit, but there's just too many. There's too many. There's so many other idiots. Like what's that fighter guy, the MMA fighter, that guy, that Dan Bilzerian guy. Like there's so many people. Like I do them. I poke them on Twitter, but like as I said, like if my content is saving Western civilization, and I do promote the idea. I do fully buy that Israel is one of the Israel and Ukraine. They're the front lines states that they're fighting for Western civilization. One is fighting against authoritarianism, like the alliance between Russia and China and North Korea, and Iran is also a part of that nexus. And Israel is fighting against Islamic extremism. Both of them are our frontline states against the defense of Western civilization, which is why I get frustrated when I see people say, "Oh, I don't have to get involved in the Israel-Palestine conflict or the Russia-Ukraine conflict." These people don't understand.
They're the true anti-imperialists. The leftists say they're anti-imperial, but America is not imperial. It's the Islamic empire and the Russian empire that is imperial. We are the true anti-imperialists. Against two.
Thank you very much, Armin.
Oh yeah, I think I'm getting cut.
All right, wrap it up. I gotta go. It was you, Armin. Keep the stream going. You can keep it going. I'll just remove myself because I mean it is being aired on your channel.
I have to go, but I appreciate everybody in the chat, guys. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Oh, I'm Israel, guys.
Thank you.
Right. Harris, can you say this with me? I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. Say that with me.
I'm Israel Chai. All right. 1, 2. I'm Israel Chai.
I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. Fantastic.
I thought we were supposed to say it